Welcome to this gentle practice to settle our nervous system, increase our oxygenation, increase the removal of toxins, and open up our spine, shoulders, and hips. So we'll begin this practice with some breathing. We will move into lymphatic drainage, which I'll talk about a little bit when we get there. And then we'll go through some series of movements, specifically work-ins, to open up the body and create space in our joints. And then we'll wrap up with a slightly deeper breath work to really tap into the increased space and energy that we've cultivated and the connection to ourselves. A little bit now, if you're lucky enough to be outside, you get the benefit of grounding and the connection to the earth, but generally we're going to wake up some of the muscles and the nerves and the joints and the feet by patting around a little bit. I'll also get a good sense of what feels balanced and neutral to us. Feet should be relatively underneath our hips now. I'll take a big breath into the belly with the hands on. Feel the belly inflate. When you exhale, allow the belly button to come in away from the hands. We're going to do two more of those. Feel the belly. Hold for a moment, and when you exhale, belly button's coming in. We're feeling our body weight settle into our pelvic core and hips. Last one, feel the belly. Hold. Gather any tension and release it on the exhale. Allow yourself to return to normal breathing. Now we're going to begin to open up the body a little bit more, specifically the lungs and the ribs, so we can catch more air. On these breaths, we're going to sweep the hands up on our inhale. We're going to look up and we will exhale. And we will slowly bring that exhale down into our body, allowing our body to settle. But what I want you to think about is an audible exhale. Without getting too deep into this, with vibration, we have a whole bunch of benefits for the body. We kind of tune the cellular system. We increase some connectivity. It's very beneficial. So we want an audible exhale. Right, so 3 big breaths with me. Inhale up. Hold for a moment and audible on the exhale. Hold at the end of the exhale for a moment. 2 more. Big breath in. And audibly exhale. And last one. Big breath. Audible exhale. Keep your eyes closed. Allow yourself to return to a natural breathing rhythm and just feel what has changed. Next, we're going to bring 2 fingers behind the point of the jaw and the little space between the neck. And we're just going to make some circles here. So as we make these circles, we're massaging our lymphatic system, increasing toxic drainage. Or toxin drainage, I should say. Just about 10 seconds or so, nothing too crazy. Next, we're going to come along the bottom of the clavicle. So we're working our way from the shoulder into the point at the base of the throat. And although the points I'm giving you are areas of collections of many lymph nodes, major junctures, if you will, switch sides, they do spread out from there. So if you're called to move a little bit out of the space that we're talking about, if there's any little tenderness in the muscles, please feel free to utilize or massage that area as well. Next, we're going to come down in from the top of the clavicle. I'm pulling down behind it. Again, light massage. Side. Next, we're going to go in the space between the shoulder and the chest, shoulder and pec muscle. I'm working my way from the collarbone now towards my armpit. I'm following this diagonal cavity. Again, if you're called to space out into the chest or the shoulder a little more, feel free. Again, I'm in that crevasse between the chest and the shoulder. Next, we're going to take all 4 fingers right underneath the sternum. And we're going to begin to make small circles. We are working our way down the central channel. So we make a couple of circles, could be anything specific, and then we move down incrementally. Eventually, we get to the belly button. Once we get there, we're going around the belly button in both directions. Next, pointy part of the pelvic bone. If I find the pelvic crest, I get a channel that runs between the thigh and the groin, and that's where I'm working here. Again, if anything feels tender, give it a little extra attention. About 10 seconds or so. And then we're going to come behind the knees. I personally like to bring my knees together for this. You don't have to. Find it easy for me to relax and soften the muscles back here when I do so. All right, so through this massage practice, we've hopefully encouraged some connectivity and circulation of that lymphatic system, and then to really help that drain, I'm going to bring in a little bit of a bounce. So let's follow the breath in through the nose. Long exhales. Take through the nose. Long exhales. In the beginning, I'm thinking of my lower extremities. I'm really trying to soften in through the hips, knees, and ankles, allowing the bounce through those joints, allowing the muscles to soften. And also imagine like your joints are turning to liquid, and it's very easy for the bones to move in there as the muscles soften more and more. And then we can imagine up into the pelvis and the low back softening. Really imagine like the organs bouncing around inside the lower vertebra, getting really soft. And as you notice, I'm moving around and playing around with some shifts of weight from one side to the next. And then I'm thinking up into my ribs and upper spine. That's softening, and into my shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Now we're getting a little bit more expressive up through those upper extremities. And then the neck can come into play here now, some yeses, some nos. At this point, it may be good to close your eyes and just follow the breath. Allowing whatever part of the body calls out to you to give special attention, whether it's a weight shift one side to the other, whether it's more in the shoulders, neck. Twenty more seconds as we stay with this breath. Last couple. And last big breath. And let the body settle, eyes closed. And just feel the way that your state has changed. Maybe you get a little vibration through the body, or maybe feel a little lighter in certain spaces. From here, we're going to move into a little twist. So soften the knees, soften the hips. And I'm thinking of my hips. And you'll notice I'm coming down a little bit and bouncing up into the rotation. I'm keeping both of my feet firmly planted on the floor. I don't want to feel like I'm coming off one foot or the other. And I can start with that attention in the waist. Allow the upper body to be nice and relaxed. And after a little bit, you'll notice my arms start to come around like wet noodles along for the ride. I'm not really trying to control them too much. Staying very relaxed in the shoulders. After I get into this a little bit, what we want is we want the hands to tap right underneath the rib cage on both sides of the body. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We do not want to force that. So let's get into this together. Again, I'm twisting through my waist, through my hips. I'm soft in my lower joints. I'm soft in all my joints, really. Allowing myself and up into the turn. Arms are very relaxed. Tapping the body as the inertia continues when I start to twist back. So as I start to unload with the hips, the arms kind of keep going and tap the body. Now let's allow the eyes to close and really follow that breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Stay with it. Following the breath. Allowing your joints to soften more and more. Releasing any inclination to control any of this. Allowing the reciprocal energy stored from the twist drive the motion. After a few twists, just that energy is shifting me back and forth. I don't really have to utilize a lot of effort here. More and more soft and relaxed up through my shoulders, shoulder blades, neck. Those upper extremities really relaxing. Maybe you notice that your pace picked up. Let me bring it back down. Let me slow it down a little bit. Last few. Full breaths. When you're ready in your own time, allow your body to come to a rest and become still. Let's switch gears. So for this next drill, we're going to need something to go under our head that brings our spine into alignment so we end up nice and neutral. Little excuse killer here, right? So yoga block is ideal. It's the best. It's got the right amount of height for most of us. It'd be nice. You can use a pillow so they can be squishy so your head may fall lower than spinal alignment. So make sure that it's something that brings your head into alignment. Or I just stuffed my shoes, tie them together. Not all of us am placing the bottom of their foot on their head, but I will. So with that being said, so for our first drill, we're going to come into the fetal position. And from this position, we want to make sure that this down arm, the shoulder, is underneath. I want to be laying on it. I don't want it extended out in front of me. My knees should be as high as my hips. I don't want them down here. I'm going to bring them all the way up. Palms are together. As we inhale, we're going to draw the top hand back along the bottom arm, bringing it towards its own respective shoulder. As we exhale, we'll slide that arm back out. We're looking for effortless, not effortful. So the inhale dictates the speed of which I move, and the exhale dictates the speed of the return. As I draw the arm back, the shoulder blade falls behind me towards the spine, opening the rib cage to the sky. And as we exhale, we close that posture back down. A helpful way to think about this is the inhale is inflating our trunk open, and the exhale is deflating our trunk closed. In the beginning, it may feel like you're pulling your arm back, then your shoulder, then rotating your spine and ribs. But eventually, this should all feel like it's happening together in unison. The inhale is allowing us to open up, and the exhale is gently closing our posture back down. Allow your eyes to close. If you forget how long you've been doing this, even better. I'll let you know when it's time to switch sides. Now, in your own time and your own way, we're going to make our way onto the other side. A reminder that the breath determines the motion. It is the engine that drives this movement. As we inhale, our trunk is becoming more spacious, expanding and opening up. And as we exhale, we are releasing the air and closing back down. In your own time and in your own way, we will come to a stop and make our way over onto the other side. Staying in the fetal position, we're going to switch our motion from the upper extremities to the lower. The top arm now goes onto the ground like a push-up position. We apply a little bit of pressure down to keep the core engaged. Again, this motion is driven by the breath, and as we inhale, we're going to draw the top leg back against the bottom leg, like a cricket rubbing its legs together. And as we exhale, we're going to shift it back to where it started. So as you're inhaling, you're technically drawing your pelvis back, but if this helps feel it more, you can think of your hip. So again, as I'm inhaling, I'm drawing my hip and pelvis back, keeping my legs together, bringing the top knee behind the bottom knee. And as I exhale, the top leg, hip and pelvis shift forward, potentially extending the top knee beyond the bottom knee. Effortless, not effortful. Imagining inflating the lower trunk and the hip and pelvis to pull the hip back, and the exhale deflating that area, allowing the pelvis and leg to fall forward against the bottom leg. You could practice to close your eyes now, get lost in the movement, and I will let you know when it is time to switch sides. When you are ready, you'll bring yourself to stillness and roll over to the other side. A reminder that we're pushing down with the top arm to create some compression through the trunk. Only about 10-15% max. We don't want a lot of pressure here, or a lot of stress, I should say. And again, that inhale draws the top leg, hip, pelvis back, and the exhale allows it to fall back to where it came from. Close your eyes, tune into your breath, and allow, don't force the movement. Now allow yourself to come to rest and make your way onto your back. We will be up on our forearms. If you take a look, you'll notice I'm setting up my elbows underneath my shoulders, chest facing the sky. As we inhale, we're going to drive down through the forearms and send the chest up to the heavens. And as we exhale, we're going to allow the chest to sink back to where it came from, falling gently through the shoulders. In the beginning, this may feel a little effortful. You may notice mounting through the forearms to drive the chest up. But over time, you'll start to notice the shoulder blades come together behind us. They drive the chest up to the ceiling. And as they relax and separate, the chest falls down through the shoulders. Eventually, even more subtle acknowledgement will be the contraction of the vertebra, extending or back bending to send the chest up to the heavens, and then again relaxing that extension to allow the chest to fall through the shoulders back down to the ground. Inhale opens the posture up to the heavens. Exhale closes and relaxes the posture back down to the ground. Allow your eyes to close. Stay connected to the breath. I'll check in soon. When you're ready, you can allow yourself to come to a rest and completely lie down on the floor or ground. We're going to bend our left knee and put our left hand behind our head next. This will be our pelvic integrator motion. Same rules, same tempo. The breath dictates the motion. As I inhale, I'm going to push my foot of the bent knee down into the floor. which will result in the hip coming up. I'm not thinking about bridging per se. I'm leaving the other side, in this case the right side, relaxed and rested on the ground. But as I inhale, I push and drop the left heel down into the floor, and the result of that is that left hip coming up and potentially rolling over to the right side. The real work comes on the exhale, working against gravity to control the motion back down to the ground at the tempo of the breath without falling quickly. The inhale, like air in a balloon, is inflating the hip up into the air, and the exhale is very slow, like there's a pinhole in that balloon, softly and gently returning the hip back down to the ground. Explore the pauses in between the breath cycles. So at the top of the motion, at the top of the inhale, hold for a moment, maintaining that position before beginning the exhale. And when your hips return all the way down to the ground, let the body fully relax, allowing the hip to be totally still on the ground before going into our next inhale. Stay with this motion. Let the eyes close, tap into your breath, and I'll let you know when it's time to switch sides. Allow yourself to come to rest on the side and switch legs and arms. Or it's the same side knee that's bent and hand that's behind the head. As we inhale, we push down through the heel, imagining that inhale is filling the hip like a balloon, floating the hip into the air. And as we exhale, we're controlling the descent, slow, smooth, continuous, all the way back to the floor, and allowing everything to come to rest on the ground before going into the next breath. Allow your body to come to a full rest and transition back into the fetal position. We no longer need anything for under our head. We'll use our bottom arm as a pillow. With the top arm pushing down yet again, we're going to begin a side bent get up. So from the fetal position, the top leg is going to lift about 2 inches and then start to pull behind me. Once it gets as far back as it's going to, I lean into the front hand, push and walk my hands in, I'm sitting up mostly. If you can't sit all the way upright, that is fine. Just come to whatever's comfortable and use your arms as a support. We want to be gentle with this process, so we're waking the body up. We're bringing it to action now. This is a natural human movement. It's a way to transition up off the floor and come to a seated position. Move with the breath still. As I inhale, I lift the leg and pull it behind me. And as I come to sit up, I want to feel myself crunch and pull using my side body. At the same time, I'm pushing through my arm and walking my hands in. Be patient and gentle with this process. I'll let you know when it's time to switch sides. Allow yourself to come to a rest and transition on to your other side. So a reminder that from the side lying position, using the bottom arm as a pillow and the top arm in a push-up position, we're going to begin the motion by lifting the top leg off the bottom one just a couple inches, starting to pull it behind us into extension, and when it hits its limit, we're going to crunch up using the side body, push through the hands and arms, walking them in until I'm mostly sitting up in a side bent position. Allow yourself to be present and take your time. Now allow yourself to come to a full rest, and we'll be switching gears. We are going to engage in a little breathing practice. Very, very simple practice. It's going to be a box breath. We're going to have the opportunity to explore it a little, have the opportunity to explore it deeply since we are lying down and in a restful state. But this is an excellent can utilize in a quick 1-minute session, so 2-minute session in order to kind of change your state, bring some awareness and presence to what's happening in the current moment. So if you have the opportunity to get something to put under your legs, I highly suggest that. A bolster to support the thighs can really help settle the low back if you're a person that has any discomfort in the spine, neck, or lower extremities. Highly suggest a bolster under your legs. So we're simply going to find our lying position. Again, if you have something under your legs, you can put it under your legs and Just let your legs rest. I'm going to keep mine bent since I do not have a bolster. We're going to place one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. And when we inhale, we want to feel the belly rise first, with the chest to follow. The deeper the breath, the more we have to fill, right? So again, as I'm inhaling, I feel the inhale start to rise my belly, and then my chest to follow. And then as I exhale, I feel the belly descend, and then the chest descend. So, belly, chest, belly, chest. Inhale, belly, then to chest. Exhale, drop the belly, and then drop the chest. So that's what I want you to think of as you're breathing. Okay, so we're going to work all together now. So the inhale is that however long it is for you. It could be 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever that feels right for you. And then we hold for the equal amount of time. So if I inhale for 3 seconds, I hold for 3 seconds, and then I exhale for 3 seconds. And then I would hold for 3 seconds at the bottom. So it's a 3-second inhale, 3-second hold, 3-second exhale, 3-second hold. I'm going to do that together. And now we will begin to bring our practice to its conclusion. Please spend as much time in this space we've created, feeling the shifted state and energy that we've cultivated. When you're ready in your own time, bring some movement to the fingers, toes, shoulders, and neck before coming up to a seated position. Know that this practice is available for you whenever you need to shift your state and help your body to restore its energy. And I'm reminding you to move well, move often, and have a wonderful day.